Hello, my name is Bisi Akande and I just want to add value to you. This is pointer to your motivation and I'm sharing to you on focus on your goals. Now, sometimes we just get worked up by trying to compare ourselves to others, and then we move into this competition zone that doesn't help us and do any good for us. A little healthy competition is fine, but when you become consumed by the desire to do better than others, then you cross over into that unhealthy territory where you begin to lose focus on what exactly you are called to do. So you've got to learn how not to climb the ladder of success by trying to look at what others are doing, but by concentrating on what it is that you want to do. You see, focus on your focus. See, where your focus goes, there your energy will flow through. When you concentrate on what you are called to do, it begins to grow. See, when you pay attention to what your goals are, then it begins to gain more attention from others. It becomes attractive to others, just like it is attractive to you. So don't allow yourself to be focused on what others are doing. Rather, keep your focus on what you are called to do. Keep your focus on your goal. As you focus on what you are called to do, your motivation, the desire to do it begins to increase, and then you find yourself enjoying it more than looking somewhere. When you compare yourself to others or try to compete with others, you are allowing negative energies into your life, and that will not help you. Focus on you. You deserve it. Till I come your way next time, please stay motivated and be well. Hello there. You're all welcome once again to your leadership community. Greetings from myself and the team here working to bring this broadcast to your space and to your place. Thank you very much for being there. I can see some of you are already with us. We have to play one or two things to get some other people coming in. I really want to appreciate your time. I really want to appreciate your consistency, your commitment to developing yourself, to growing and to being here. Last week we had my friend Soji Oyawoye who came into, last week we had a recap of what we've been doing. Week before we had Soji Oyawoye who came in to speak to us about team leadership, second season, the one that started the week before that week. I really want to thank you. This week has really been full of a lot of activities for us, the week before and all that. So many things going on, and I really appreciate the privilege that I have, that you have, that we have to work to make a difference in our world. It's such an exciting thing to always have that time. You know, I've been trying to digest what I've been learning. I had to be at the International Maxwell Certification Training. It was a 4-day program, and prior to that there were other sessions. It was just so amazing connecting with leaders all across the world. It's such a wonderful time. It was such a wonderful time, and then I'm beginning to pick up the things that we are learning. By the way, I'd like to appreciate all of you for your congratulatory messages. You know, I was just testing myself, and I decided to, in building my speaking level, in building my competency in the area of speaking, I tried to put in for what we call the stage time finalists, and out of the 3,000 plus people that are on that team, I was also selected as the top 10 finalists. Thank you very much for your coming on board. Thank you for congratulating me, for helping me, for giving me your attention so that I can use the moments we share together to also build myself. I must say that I love you all, and I'll keep growing myself for that purpose. I keep working to keep building and building the person that I am. You know, such a great moment. You know, we've been working on this community now for quite some time, and over the time I've been using it, doing this and doing that. And many of you have come on board trying to help us. We really appreciate all that you do and how you stay in this place. Thank you very much. Once again, doesn't change. My name is Bisi Akande, and all I want to do is add value to you. I welcome you to the leadership community. This is your space. This is our community where we learn, where we unlearn, so that we can grow, keep growing, and making a difference in our world. Our goal has always been to keep adding value to others who are willing to add value to some other people, so that we can make a difference in our world. Now, we do this because we believe that leadership is not for just a few. Leadership is for everyone. It's everybody's business. Leadership is everybody's business. Now, today, I just felt inspired to share with us some of my learnings and my thoughts on the subject of success to significance. Now, we all have this inborn desire to succeed. Everyone wants to do well. In fact, we even try a whole lot to outdo others, to succeed more than the other person. And it's just in us. We want to succeed. We want to make good whatever it is that we're doing. It's fantastic. We want to achieve something. Someone said success is sweet, and I agree. I really do agree that success is sweet. Each time we succeed, it comes with this feeling of achievement. There's something, it makes you glad, makes you happy. You want to succeed, and it's fantastic to want to succeed. That's the truth. It's fantastic to want to be the best that you can be. Success is the reward that you get for putting in the effort to dream and to make that dream a reality. That's what you get. And believe me, success is good. Now, but there's something that is more than success. There's something that is beyond success, and it is called significance. You can be successful, but you can also be significant. You see, success is what you do for yourself, and we all can rejoice and celebrate with you when you succeed. We can do that, but we will never feel the impact of that success. That's the difference. Now, most people, after succeeding at the things they have set out for themselves, and they say they want to succeed, then they still feel the void on the inside. They still feel like something didn't happen. They still feel like an emptiness on the inside that makes them feel that I really didn't get what I wanted to get. So many times, that's why we keep going after one, after one, after one. You see, but the real deal is significance. That is actually where we get the best of the answer. The real deal is when you move, when you make that switch for success to significance. Because as success is what you do for yourself, significance is what you do for others. When you do stuff for yourself, you succeed. But when you do stuff for others, when you get others to the place of success, then you become a significant person. You see, people don't follow you because of your success, even though it may be attractive to them. Your success may attract people to you, but you see, people will follow you when you do things that impact their lives in some way. Significance is the real deal. Significance is real success, and we will come to that shortly if we have enough time today. For your success to be real, for success to last, for your success to stand the test of time, then it must impact others. One of my mentors will say that if your riches can't reach others, then you are not rich. Let me take that again. If your riches cannot reach others, then you are not rich. Think about that. See, friends, if you succeed, and everyone around you ends up a failure, then you can't be said to have succeeded, because really your success becomes corrupted. Your success should be affecting others and generating success for them. That's also true. When you succeed, that success should be able to generate success for other people. You should be able to put others on the pedestal, and that's why we do what we do. That's why sometimes you see that I can move out of the leadership community and allow some other persons to come in and express themselves. Whatever success we achieve must be affecting the other people who are around us. So if you want to go from success to significance, that would be a very great idea. You must start, of course, by first of all succeeding, because success, like I said, is sweet. You can't go from success to significance if you don't succeed. So succeed you must, but you must then go beyond success, make the shift, make that shift, go beyond success to becoming a significant person, a person of reference, someone who can command the attention of others, not just attract their attention. When you attract the attention of others, they look at you. But when you command their attention, that is a different ballgame altogether. They begin to look to you as a leader. In fact, real leadership comes to you when you become a person of significance. One of the levels of leadership that John C. Maxwell talks about is the level that he calls people development. When people follow you because of the things that you have done for them. When you build them up, when you equip them, when you add value to them, when you make their life better, not bitter, when you add to them, when you help them to go from where they are to where they're supposed to be, then that is called leadership. So you are no longer a successful person, you have now become a person of significance. And that is where you really want to go. I see a lot of people who have succeeded, but their success is not significant. Their success is not impacting anybody. Their success has not touched any life, has not reached anybody. And because of that, eventually they get kind of frustrated. But if you are going to succeed, you're going to be significant, like I said, you have to succeed first. And that's why I want to start by looking at the subject of success as a leader. You've got to succeed first. There are 4 or 5 questions I believe that every successful person will have to deal with in their life if they are going to say indeed that success will come their way. 4 questions. And if you have a pen with you, for those of you who are chatting, you can put them in the chat box also. But if you have a pen with you, I'd like you to note these questions. I'm going to just ask the question. But you know what? You might really need to consider the question again, look at the question, take a good look at the question again, and really answer that question. And the first question is what I call the clarity question. The clarity question says, what do you really want? I could have just said, what do you want? But I want to point out an emphasis there on the word really. What do you really want? This question is what opens you to what is possible for you, because the truth is, whatever you really want is possible. Whatever you really want, if it is what you really want, if it is what your mind and your heart, if it is what your conscious and your subconscious mind are working together for you, if it is what they have agreed, if it's what your mind has really accepted, if it's what resonates with who you are, if it's what comes from who you are and whose you are, if that is what you really want, then it becomes a possibility in your life. I often say to myself, if something is impossible, it's not because it is impossible, it is actually because I don't really want it. If I really want it, if you really want it, if you get to the point where you can say, this indeed is the dream that I have, this is the goal that I have, then it becomes possible. So answering this question opens you to possibilities. There are basic things that we all need. For example, we all need shelter. We need a place to stay. That's basic. Every human being needs a place to stay. There is food, for example. We all need food also. Food is critical to our life. We need to eat so that we can keep going. Some people eat to live, some people live to eat, whichever one. But you've got to know that food is critical and is important for you and I. Clothing, we've got to cover ourselves up. Technically, when you cover yourself up, then there's no shame. When somebody meets you and you're naked, then there's some level of shame. But within these 3 things, they are basic, but there are also the things that are specific to you and I. And that's why we are asking this question. What do you really want? Isn't it amazing that there are a lot of people in life who really don't know what they want? I mean, that's the truth. I've met quite a number of people who live other people's dream all their life. In fact, they die trying to live somebody else's life because they never really know what they want. In fact, when they come with an idea, you can easily change the idea because they don't know what they want. You don't even need to interrogate the idea. Just bring another option and they just go with that other option. I know because I've been there. Oh yes, I've been there. I've been at a point in my life where I didn't know what I want. So anything that anybody brings my way is okay. Anything goes. You can't lead your life by going with whatever comes your way. You can't live your life that way. There's no way you can live your life by going into anything that anybody wants for you. It is what you want that matters. That's why we are told by the good book, whatever you desire. A funny story. Jesus met a man who was by the poolside with a palsy, and he still asked him a question: will you be made whole? What do you want? Because the truth of the matter is that it might just be that the man wants some money. It might just be that the man wants some help to be pushed into the water, whatever. The man might just want anything. But the question, the thing that life will do for you, the thing that providence will do for you, will be determined by what you really want. So you've got to answer that question. And I'm putting that question to you because some of us really might be in that space of still wondering, what do I really want? You know, when you see somebody doing business, you want to run into business. Somebody's trying this, you want to run and try that. You don't have a hold on something that is yours, that is designed by you for you, something that is yours. What do you really want? I've been there, like I said, so I know how tough it is sometimes to answer that question. So as I ask you that question, and if you have a pen in your hand, if you are certain of what it is that you really want, would you write it down and say, this is what I want? Now, sometimes you might think is what you want, but by the time you interrogate it further, you get to realize that this indeed is not what I really want. It might just be what someone else wants for you. It might just be what you have been conditioned for over time. Maybe looking at your model, your role models, and seeing some other people around you. Maybe it's something that you just like, by the way. It might not just be what you really want. Because if you don't answer that question, then you're not clear. And when there's no clarity, the journey becomes confusing and frustrating. You will stop at every bus stop because you really do not know what you want. Neither would you be able to know where you are going. Search your heart. This question, actually, when it gets answered, when you know what you want, it is because you have found out who you are. That's where it begins from. You see, success begins with you. I often say leadership begins with you, but success also begins with you. And that's because the only person who can actually score you as having succeeded on something is you. Why? Because you are the only one who really knows what you want. Now, it's possible that you wanted to, let me just use this for emphasis. You wanted to become the MD CEO of the place where you work, and then you went about pursuing it, and you became the DMD. That's fantastic. In fact, people are going to celebrate you, they will clap for you. But the question that you want to answer is, did you succeed? To a large extent, you didn't. Why? Because what you wanted for yourself was not what you got. You got what people could celebrate, but not what you wanted for yourself. Now, if you don't know what you want for yourself, when you get to that position, while people are celebrating you, you know what you're going to do? You will relax at that position and think that you have arrived at where you wanted, though it's not what you really want. So you've got to determine what you really want. Ask yourself a question. Know yourself first. Start with knowing yourself. What are the strengths that you possess? What strengths do you carry? What interests you? What are the things that sparkles, that, well, like somebody will say, what are the things that ginger your swagger as it is? What is the thing that really gets into you? What are those things that get into you that when you look at it and say, I'm interested in this? Not just for the fun of it. What are the things that get into you? What are the opportunities that are available around you? That will begin to point you to what you really want. I'm spending time on this because this is critical. I see a lot of people who are working and going to places of work that they are not appreciative of. They don't like it, but they keep going there on and on. What are the opportunities that match your potential? Because there's no potential anywhere. Every potential resides in you, but the opportunities are out there. What opportunity? You can't pursue every opportunity. You can't go for every opportunity. You can't take every opportunity, but there are opportunities that match your potential. So what is it that you carry on the inside that matches those opportunities? The big one is, what is your purpose? And that is critical. And I hear a lot of them say, I want to know my purpose. I want to know my purpose. And when you ask and dig further, you discover that there are certain areas of life that are not really functional. But you need to know your purpose. You don't have to be in the dark about who you are or what you are called to do. You shouldn't be in the dark about that. Purpose is the pointer to your place of real success. Anyone who wants to really succeed must understand their purpose. Now, I learned something from my friend Sojoya Way, which I would like to share with you here about purpose. About success. Success comes from doing four things. And I'll share them with you. Number one, what you enjoy and love doing. What you enjoy and love doing. And that is the thing that is interesting. See, when you are doing what you enjoy, what you love doing, it is interesting. It's interesting to you. In fact, it might even be interesting to other people. It might get other people because there's a way you do it. You just love doing it. That's what you can do actually for free. It doesn't really matter whether anybody is paying for you. You do it for free. You will do it easily, and it makes your work fun. Now, the second thing is what you are good at doing. That is where inspiration comes. You get inspired when you are doing something that you are good at doing. Are you good at speaking? Are you good at networking? Are you good at building systems, building structures? Are you good at human relations? What is it that you are good at? Are you a good, competent mechanic? That talks about your area of competence. What is it that you do that you are good at doing? That's the second thing. The third thing is doing something that people need, people require. You see, people will always go out there, like I was talking about the basic needs of human beings. People always go out there and go and eat. Food is a basic need. So if you are doing food, people need it. Now, if you discover that you are doing something that people don't need, you might just be running a hobby. You're just running it. It won't bring you success in real terms. Now, the fourth thing is what people are willing to pay for. Now, what people need is what guarantees impact. What people are willing to pay for is what brings income. And of course, income is critical. Now, I know a lot of us, sometimes we want to go for, okay, I want to do things for free. But you see, let me just say this. I was listening to Richard Mufedami, and he was talking about his health coach. And he said, look, we need to learn how to pay people for the things that they do around us. That's very important. So you also need to get to the point where you are doing something that brings an income, because that's the way you continue to live your life and continue to add value. So 4 things: what you enjoy and love doing, what you are good at doing, what people need, and what people are willing to pay for. You see, when you are doing things that people are not willing to pay for, you would have a problem, because eventually you will run out of business. You run out of business. I'm not saying what people can pay for now, but what people are willing to pay for. Sometimes they may not be able to pay for it at that point, but then at that point you can actually give them a complimentary, give them something pro bono. But when they can pay, are they willing to pay? So those things must match. Now, anytime one of these is not in the mix, success will be short-lived, and success can become short-changed. You can even move into other things. If you are doing something that you love doing, for example, even when you are good at it and you discover that people need it and nobody is willing to pay for it, at the end of the day, you're going to leave it. You're going to move on. It can become frustrating. You end up broke. Not that you end up broke. And once you end up broke, what you love doing, you will begin to despise it. I mean, that's the truth. And you can't succeed when you despise doing something that you are doing. So you've got to check it out. What people are willing for is critical. So these 4 must go together. Now, purpose is when you find what you love, what you are good at doing, what people need, and what people are willing to pay for. Then you have found your purpose. The 4 of them have to be in one place. The 4 of them have to be in the mix. They have to go together for you to now say, indeed, I have found my purpose. That's where you can see that. Now, if you desire to know your purpose, then ask yourself, do I love what I'm doing? I want to throw that question to you. Do you love what you're doing? Do you enjoy doing what you are doing? Is it interesting to you? Do you enjoy it? Are you good at it? Have you been able to develop some level of competence at it? If you love it and you enjoy it, I believe strongly that you can build competence there. That's the truth, because anyone can learn anything. Now, do people need it? Is this something that is necessary for human existence? What impact is it going to make in people's life? And then the 4th question you want to ask yourself is, are they willing to pay for it? When I began to reinvent myself, these are 4 questions I asked myself. I wanted to find out, if you are going to be a speaker, if you are going to be a leadership trainer, leadership coach, if you are going to be doing this in addition to your calling, your place of operation, Number one, do you enjoy it? And I found out that I enjoy adding value. I just love adding value to people. I enjoy seeing people grow. I enjoy seeing people learn. I enjoy sharing information with people. I enjoy it. So I had to ask myself the second question: are you good at it? So I began to develop myself. That's one of the reasons why I signed up for coaches. That's the reason why I joined the John Maxwell team. That's the reason why I interact with people. I interact because I want to build myself. I want to get better. That's the reason I put myself on the speaking track. I began to learn how to speak. I wanted to, you see, it's not everyone that speaks that is a professional speaker, that is a speaker. Let me put it that way. Let me remove the word professional. Anybody can speak, but it takes people who have learned the art and mastered the skill, who have been able to pick up the skill of speaking, that you can now say, okay, this person is a speaker. Is now a different level. So I had to do those things so that I can get into that level. But that's why in testing myself, I had to put in for that stage time to see if I'll really be one of those that you can say, okay, fine, this person can get on that stage. And I mean, it's amazing when you can share space with a man like John Maxwell, because he was on that platform speaking. So it's amazing, it's great, it's awesome. Now, the other question I have to ask myself is that, do people need this? And I can tell you without any doubt from the research that I did, people need to be inspired. People need to be inspired. People need to be motivated. People need to know what to do to get to where they need to get to. People need to know themselves. So there needs to be some people who will be able to speak into their space and give them the skills that they need for leadership. People need to grow. So I strongly believe that what I'm doing is needed. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe that's why we're all here together. We all need this. Why do I go for conferences? Why do I go for trainings? I go because I need to add value to myself. I need to be a better person. I need to be able to add value that will help me to make more difference, increase my impact, and be able to maximize my influence. I need it. The other question, which was tricky, was, are people willing to pay for it? That was a little tricky. I wanted to know if people are willing to pay for it, and I didn't know how to know. The only way I could know was for me to put out a conference and put a price on it. And I did that last year. Put out a conference, I put a price on it, and people paid for it. I was amazed. I didn't expect that they were going to pay. In fact, it went beyond my imagination, because we were thinking we would have 30 people, but we had 37 people, and they all paid in full. Awesome. I mean, some people even paid, one or two of them, and they couldn't make it. They didn't even request for a refund because they knew that this was valuable to them. So we had to schedule them for another time. So you've got to ask yourself those questions. And as I'm speaking now, I don't know if you're asking yourself those questions, but those questions are very critical. What do you enjoy doing? Are you good at what you are doing? Do people need it? Are they willing to pay for it? Interest, inspiration, impact, and income. You've got to be able to answer that question. We are running out of time. I'm not sure that I'll be able to take this to the very end. So let's just dive in a little bit, and then we might just have a second part to this. And who knows, I might just bring in someone else who is just an expert in this area to come share with us. You see, real success, sir, comes from knowing your purpose, growing to reach your maximum potential, and doing things that will benefit other people. That's what we capture in those 4 questions. You know your purpose. Once you pick out your purpose, then you begin to grow to reach your maximum potential, and then you do stuff that will add value, or that will benefit other people. That's why we're talking about significance. Real success, it comes first of all from knowing your purpose. I've spoken about how we can agree on our purpose, how we can reach out to our purpose and find it out. The other thing is that it takes growing. And on this platform, we have spoken so much about growing. And I tell people, I'm just heavy on personal growth. If you're not growing, then you really can't be my friend. But I know why we're here together is because you have a niche. You have a desire for your personal growth. Many of us here are personal growth teachers. Many of us on this platform are personal growth trainers. We are always keen on personal growth. So when I see what my friends in the Maxwell team are doing, I try to enter into them. I want to learn from them. I want to pick stuff from them. And sometimes they come into this place also, so that we can all be growing together. And that's why I always write myself, and I say, let's do this and grow together, because we all need to be growing together. But you don't just grow, you grow to reach your maximum potential. You must get to the point when you have done all that you could do. And if you have not gotten there, then what do? You keep growing. There's a lot you can do. You can reach the entire world. Until you reach the entire world, you better not stop. Now, when you reach the entire world, you must make the entire world to reach the entire world. In other words, when you are reaching people, you've got to get them to the point when they also are reaching others. Then you can say that it's a continuous process. Growth never stops. John Maxwell will say there's no finish line, because when you get to the finish line, you are finished. Growth never stops. You've got to take that to heart. Growth never stops. And then, of course, I said real success, which is life of significance, come when you know your purpose, you grow to your maximum potential, and then you are doing things that will benefit others. Now, I got that definition from John's teachings. You are doing things that will benefit others. Those keywords are very critical. Who you are your purpose comes from who you are. Growth brings improvement, and that has a lot to do with what you do. Action, the action that you take. Now, I talk about the first question, which is the clarity question. The second question you need to ask is the motive question. See, there are a lot of questions because that's what we do now. Ask questions so that you can introspect and get the answers for yourself. The second question is the motive question. And the motive question is very critical. What is the motive question? The motive question is, why do you want what you want? Why do you want it? Really? Why do you want it? There are many people, when you ask them, what do you want? Say, I want to become a millionaire. Ask them, why do you want to become a millionaire? You will find out that they are frivolous things. You know why that question is critical? It's critical because what will keep you on the journey to getting what you want is your motive. When your motive is not strong enough and the difficulties erupt, the challenges come to challenge you. When crisis comes, then you will begin to drop the ball. The clarity question opens you up to the possibilities, but the motive question is what deepens your thoughts. The motive question gets you to the point where you need to think about it. Say, okay, if this is what I want, why do I want it? See, because when you actually get the answer to why you want it, then you will keep going and keep growing and keep going until you get it. You will never stop. So please allow me to ask you, think about that question. If you have really determined what you want, is it for your personal success or for the greater good? What you say you want. Is it for you or for someone else? Who is this desire going to serve? Who is it serving? What desire is this choice serving? The choice you have made. What desire is this solving? What desire is this serving? Who is this serving? Motive is like your why. And when you know your why, the how will become easy to find. You've got to be able to answer the motive question. The motive question is critical for you and I. The third question, I stayed longer on the first question because it was heavy. The third question is the emotion question. I call it the emotion question. How will you feel when you have gotten what you said you wanted? How will you feel? Take yourself on the journey. What am I saying? Experience the experience before you experience it. How will you feel when you get there? Now, why do I say this question is also important? Because sometimes in my life, I wanted a job. And the reason I wanted a job was I felt I needed to make some money. And in my thinking, if I can make some money, I'll be happy. I thought money would make me happy. This was my journey. So when I graduated from school, the first thing I did was to plunge in. I wanted to get a job. So I got somebody to link me up to somebody, and I got a job. And I was excited. I started the job and I was really excited, holding on and waiting for the day when my first pay package will come. My joy dropped on the day I collected my first pay package. That was the day my joy dropped. Because the moment I picked the money, I now realized that it could not serve everything that I wanted to do with the money. It couldn't. I just realized that it was too small to serve everything I wanted to do. So my joy left. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with the money. The problem was I never knew how I was going to feel. I never checked the emotion I was going to feel when I get what I said I wanted. So how would you feel when you have it? That question helps you to experience it even before it comes your way. Sometimes we think that certain things will give us certain happiness. We think that certain things will take us there. We just think that certain things will make it better. Sometimes we play the power and money game. Some people have money, now they are looking for power. Some people have power, now they are looking for money. And the reason is that when they went for power, they thought that they got power. When they went for money, they thought they got this. But it doesn't just go. You've got to know what you really want. Some of us, you don't need too much to really get your life going. You might just want to get into your space, find your purpose, and you are doing what you're supposed to do, and then all of that is will come. See, power, money comes to the man who finds his purpose and is running with the purpose. So imagine that you have accepted that this is what you want. Let's agree that you have gotten to know why you want that, and you've gotten your motive right. Now, can you take a journey with yourself and find out how you will feel when you eventually get what you say you wanted? You are like putting this thing to the test. If you find out that the way I thought I would feel is not the way I felt, then you might need to go back and check your motive question. That's question number 3. We talk about the clarity question, the motive question, the emotion question. The 4th question is the strategy question. That's another question that you must answer. The strategy question. What steps will you take to get the job done? Now, I use the word steps for a purpose. I used it deliberately. Because you see, if you are going to get to the height of any story building or any high building, any high tower, you are going to take steps. Sometimes you might not see all the steps. All you might just see is the first and the second step. You've got to start with those steps. But you know what? You can't climb to the top if there are no steps. Wherever the steps get to, that's where you stop. So you must have a strategy. Now there are steps, there are escalators, there are elevators. You've got to now choose for yourself. Do you want to use an elevator? Do you want to use an escalator? Do you want to use the regular step? Whichever one will take you, which vehicle is going to take you there, you've got to decide what vehicle will take me there. Make a decision about what the vehicle is that you are going to use. But you must put the steps together. When you answer the strategy question, what it does is that it helps you design your path even before you start taking the journey. And you've got to design your path. You've got to design your path. What vehicle will you use? Which path will you take? There are several ways to get to a place. For example, I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I want to travel to Port Harcourt, for example. I could take a walk. I could take a walk, the long walk. You've got to decide. You're going to take a walk. It's possible to ride a bike. Okay, let me put it, possible to ride a bicycle. It's also possible to ride a bike. It's possible to take a car. It's possible to fly an aircraft. What's your strategy? What is your success model? What success model are you going to use? You've got to find out. How did you succeed the last time you succeeded with a goal that you set? Well, how did you succeed? What was it that you did that helped you to succeed? You've got to find out. That's the way to create a model for yourself. Knowing that, okay, these are the things I did and it helped me to succeed. You can always repeat that feat. That's the way I see like you can always repeat that feat. So you've got to answer the question of strategy. What strategy would you use? When you create the steps, the objective becomes easier to achieve. So you've got to create the steps. Breaking it down, that's what I call it. Breaking it down and say, okay, I'm going to take this first, I'll do this first, I'll do that first. So, for example, I want to make #1 million in the next 365 days. That's a little complex, so let me break it down. I want to make #1 million. So how do I break it down? Step number 1 could be that I could get a product and get 1 million people to pay me ₦1 for that product. If I can get 1 million people to pay me ₦1 for that product, then I will achieve my goal. But there's another strategy I could use. I could use the strategy of saying, okay, can I get 100 people who are going to give me 10,000 naira? That's another way. It could also change the dynamics. Can I get 1,000 people who will buy a product from me for 1,000 naira? These are steps. If 1,000 people buy a product of 1,000 naira from me, I'll get 1 million. So what strategy do you want to choose? Because I always jokingly say that if you don't have a strategy, you will suffer tragedies. And many people don't have strategy. I want to get a job. That's what they say. I want to get a job. Okay, what's your strategy? They just feel that, oh, if I'm going to get a job, then all I need to do is just print my CV and go and drop it in somebody's office. I have countless numbers of CV hanging on my table. But the people that have really gotten me are those who understood my style. They came personally. They came. I can remember a couple of people just come and say, look, I'm willing to just do things with you. And I thought of it as, okay, these people must really know what they want. And then we went on. And something is happening. Things are happening there. So you don't just drop your CV everywhere and just drop it anywhere. Okay, fine, it's good. You want to sow your seed everywhere as it is. No problem. Go ahead and sow your seed everywhere. But you know what? You can be more strategic than that. Now, I know there's a scripture that I mean, there's a passage in the Bible that I can play with on this. Now, he said that a sower went out to sow, and some fell on good ground, some fell on bad soil. But if you are strategic, do you know that all the seed can actually land on good ground? All the seed, they can all land on good ground, rather than just throwing your seed anyhow. So if you want to, just focus on it. Just get in there. Les Brown's example makes a lot of learning for me. Les Brown said he wanted to be a disc jockey. He really wanted it, so he began to study it. And one day, he walked into the place where he felt he could get that job. And he asked, I want to be a disc jockey. My name is Les Brown. And the man looked at him and said, well, unfortunately, I don't have space for you. So he left. And the following day, he came right back on. And the man said, I know who you are. And I told you yesterday that we didn't have space for you. The man said, okay, I'm sorry. But I thought maybe somebody was fired. He said, well, nobody was fired. You may go. He left. And the third day, he was right back in the same office, the same place. And he met, guess what? The same man. And the man was almost going to get upset and say, well, I told you yesterday. He said, I'm sorry, but I thought somebody died. He said, well, nobody died. You can get out of this place. The fourth day, he was back in the same place. He knew what he wanted and he was going for what he wanted. He was focused on what he wanted. By the time he arrived on the fifth day, the man looked at him and the man sent him to go get coffee. Yes, he was there for a disc jockey job, but the first opportunity that came his way was to go get coffee. He took the money, went to get the coffee, and he brought it back. And then he began to hang around that place. And then sometimes he began to do things for people that they couldn't do for themselves. When one of the disc jockeys comes in and parks their car and the car is dirty, he cleans the car and he tells nobody that he was the one who did it. But someday they got to notice. That was why he was spending. And one day, one very wonderful day, he got lucky. You know what? When you put in the effort, you become luckier. He got lucky because he kept working. You know, the more you work, the luckier you get. For those of you who really want to be lucky in life, can I advise you, please keep working. He got lucky because he was working. And one day, one of the people on the set was drinking and he couldn't stop himself. And the man drank himself to the point when he couldn't be on the set. When they got out there, they told him, go and look for anybody around that can take his place. And he said, what do you mean? Anybody around? I am anybody around. So he went and came back and said, sir, I couldn't find anyone. It's okay. Do you know how to treat this system? Can you work this meat? Can you work this machine? He said, I know. He said, okay, fine. Get there, keep playing music, but do not say anything. Les picked up his phone, called his mother, and called his girlfriend, who was to be his wife. When he called them, he told them, just get on the radio right now because I'm about to hit town. And he got there, he introduced himself. The man they told not to say anything. He introduced himself and then he went on. And that was how he started the process that took him to becoming one of the highest paid speakers in the world today. What's your strategy? You've got to answer those 4 critical questions. Clarity question, your motive question, your emotion question, and your strategy question. I will not be able to go further from here. Not because I lack what to say, but because time will not allow us to go any further. So that means that next week, we're going to be looking at the second part of success to significance. I know I said quite a number of things. Pick them up and think about them. Really think, reflect on these things. Don't just sit back here and listen. Reflect on these things and come up with those answers. How do you find your purpose? You've got to do what you love. You've got to do what you are good at. You've got to do what people need. And you've got to do what people are willing to pay for. If it is something you love, it becomes interesting. If it is something you can do, it becomes inspiring. If it is something that people need, it becomes impactful. And if it is something that people are willing to pay for, it derives income. The 4 questions that every successful person must answer: the clarity question, the motive question, the emotion question, and the strategy question. I know that you've had a great experience with me on your leadership community today. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all that you have been sharing and all you have been saying. This must have been a good time for us. That's why we have so much of this. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you very much. I'm always so glad to be in your space. I'm always so glad to be around you. Now, I think that for those of us who are parents, there's a book that I would have loved to share with us. Maybe I'll share it next time. It's called Raising Teenage Millionaires. It's on Amazon right now. It's a book that I did with a friend of mine. It's right there on Amazon. You can always pick it. It's called Raising Teenage Millionaires. I'll send the link on the leadership community so that you can check it out and probably pick a soft copy of it for yourself. Thank you for being on this with me today. Let's always do this and grow together. I celebrate your growth. I celebrate your learning. I celebrate the change that is taking place on your inside. And I celebrate the person that you and I are becoming so that we can get to the place where we are supposed to get to. Thank you once again. This is your leadership community with Bisi Akande. I'll see you again. Hello, my name is Bisi Akande and I just want to add value to you. This is pointer to your motivation and I'm sharing to you on focus on your goals. Now, sometimes we just get worked up by trying to compare ourselves to others, and then we move into this competition zone that doesn't help us and do any good for us. A little healthy competition is fine, but when you become consumed by the desire to do better than others, then you cross over into that unhealthy territory where you begin to lose focus on what exactly you are called to do. So you've got to learn how not to climb the ladder of success by trying to look at what others are doing, but by concentrating on what it is that you want to do. You see, focus on your focus. See, where your focus goes, there your energy will flow through. When you concentrate on what you are called to do, it begins to grow. See, when you pay attention to what your goals are, then it begins to gain more attention from others. It becomes attractive to others, just like it is attractive to you. So don't allow yourself to be focused on what others are doing. Rather, keep your focus on what you are called to do. Keep your focus on your goal. As you focus on what you are called to do, your motivation, the desire to do it begins to increase, and then you find yourself enjoying it more than looking somewhere. When you compare yourself to others or try to compete with others, you are allowing negative energies into your life, and that will not help you. Focus on you. You deserve it. Till I come your way next time, please stay motivated and be well.